All right, so now we're getting into the theory of things. This is, talk about what is a key, okay? So the relationships of chords, when we were talking about the dominants earlier, the 7 chord, when we have certain sounds, I said that those relate to being, the 5 chord and things like that. Well, when we talk about chords and numbers, this is, and really everything about scales in general, it all works together. So the first thing we want to do is literally just play a scale on one string. And I want you to try to kind of sing it like, so do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, right? Or we'll say the letters. C, it starts on C, and they're all just normal. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, right? Going up and down, you can try that doing the solfege at least on different strings. This is the only one that's C. That is your scale, right? Anywhere you play that though. If I start on F, then that becomes an F scale. B flat. Any note that we start on, you get that scale with those fret patterns. Well, so this is what all music is based off, is this idea where we have whole, half. Then you have whole, half, okay? So, and the solfege is written there too. When you take the 3rd, 5th, and play them at the same time. So I'm gonna start here, right? So that's do, re, mi, and then mi, fa, sol. That's do, mi, sol. That's your chord. And when I play a simple chord like a C, it goes do, mi, sol, do, mi. Right? That C chord right there is in order. They're not all, unfortunately, in order, but this specific one is. D minor is the next one. So if I said started on D, D, E, F, G, A, D, F, A, D, F, A, that's D minor. Then we have E minor. E, G, B, E, G, B. Then we have F, F, A, C. And then we have G, G, B, D. And then we have A minor, A, C, E, A, C. So when I play those two together, I can even hit bass drum and sort of walk up a scale. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor. But then we have B diminished. So as a triad, this is the one I drew in there. But the B is the pinky right here. This is the one we usually don't use. And this is where, we get to kind of a standstill with chords, is that the 7, that 7 chord ends up being something that we kind of just go, we're not gonna worry about, because it functions differently. And we'll talk more about that as we get into chords, but those first 6 are important. So what we end up doing is, for the sake of learning chords, is that we will make one a flat, right? So now I'm gonna say like C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor. But then rather than play a B diminished, we're gonna play a B flat, which is called a flat 7, right? So as opposed to being a B chord, we just go down a half step and make it major. And the reason this is all over music, where we will use that chord instead. So for your education and just your knowledge of how chords work, it's really good to just sort of absorb some of it that way. Now, we went through that way. All the other chords are written in there. There's a lot of bar chords written in here, which we're going to cover later. But I wanted to just kind of talk through them first. The other thing to think about is, for the further learning aspect of this, is when we go through our keys. So I said C that was the neutral one. There's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Well, there are 5 main keys that we work out of. We work out of C, G, D, E, and A. None of those are flat keys. Those are all sharp keys. And then we capo accordingly. I think it's really important that you just learn those 5 keys and those chords and get really solid with those. And if then you're feeling very adventurous and want to learn all 12 keys, do it. And I mean, everyone needs to know it eventually, but for guitar players, especially playing acoustic guitar, you know, you're not really gonna find yourself playing, you know, out of B flat. You're gonna probably capo on the 3rd fret and play out of G, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, so just, you know, go through. It's a memorization part, right? It's not the most exciting thing in the world. Memorization is always a little bit tricky, but you get it. Just take time.